Let's bring in CASAC Executive Secretary Lawson Naidoo, who joins us for this discussion. Lawson, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, just a day after losing her High Court bid to ward off being taken into custody, the National Assembly Speaker has now called it quits. We know she's been under mounting pressure to resign and, more so from opposition parties calling for her to resign or even face a motion of no confidence tabled by the DA. What is your immediate reaction to this resignation?
Well, I think firstly, the resignation must be welcomed, given the pressure that the former speaker was under with the investigation by the investigating directorate and the Hawks, the fact that she's going to be charged imminently with corruption and money laundering, which are extremely serious criminal offences. That it was the right thing to do. The only, I suppose, lament is that this should have been done a few weeks ago when the issue really came to the fore, if she was really serious about protecting the integrity of Parliament. It's also, interesting that this resignation comes a day after she lost a case seeking an interdict against the NPA from effecting an arrest. And with the arrest now imminent, it's quite clear that once that arrest was done, that the ANC step-aside rule would then kick in. So it seems as if, she's opted to jump before she was pushed, as it were.
Yeah, because the ANC in itself has praised her for stepping down before being instructed to step aside. Is there anything significant to be made of the timing? I mean, you detailed the actual criminal case, which could be building up. But is there anything to be made of the timing? Elections right around the corner, and of course, the suggestions around how difficult a political climate these elections will be for the ANC.
Well, it is indeed a difficult climate, but I think Parliament needs to stand apart from that and continue to serve as the forum for public debate, and it's the institution in which we as ordinary South Africans, as voters, elect our representatives to that institution. So we must hold it in high regard, and those that lead it, must be beyond reproach. And it's quite clear that these allegations against the speaker, which as I said, are extremely serious. Yeah. Should have caused her to think about the impact that this would have on the image of Parliament, on the integrity of that institution, which has been beset by a number of problems over recent years, and we've detailed in the Zondo Commission report, for example, and this resignation of the Speaker coming a few weeks before a general election means that whoever takes over as Speaker in the 7th Parliament is going to have an incredible amount of work to do to restore public trust in this institution, which sits at the very heart of our democracy.
Well, you're quite correct, because the resignation essentially does shine the spotlight on Parliament and instilling that culture of accountability with those entrusted with public office. I mean, what kind of precedent do you think this move now sets for Parliament and the work going forward? I mean, you talk about the heavy workload that one needs to take in filling this position.
Well, I think firstly, when Parliament meets after the election to elect a new speaker, that Parliament must make sure that whoever they choose to lead that institution is somebody who is beyond reproach, that has the respect of all South Africans and has the respect of all members of Parliament. Because without that respect and confidence from across the political spectrum that is represented in Parliament, it is impossible for the Speaker to carry out her or his duties. So I think that's the first thing to do, to make sure that whoever is elected as Speaker does have that confidence and can take the institution forward. But there's an awful lot of work for Parliament to do, post the elections. Yeah. And this role of Speaker, which, amongst the responsibilities of the Speaker, is to uphold the dignity of the institution. That's, catalogued within the rules of the National Assembly. And if the Speaker finds herself in a position where she is unable to uphold the dignity of the institution, then the resignation is indeed the right thing to do.
On the other hand, we know that the NPA has denied giving Mapisa-Nqakula any special treatment in the run-up to her arrest. But of course, the spotlight again will now be on the role that law enforcement agencies need to play to conclude this matter and apply the law with equal measure and consistency.
Yes, and we know that the NPA have afforded her a level of cooperation and seeking to ensure a non-controversial appearance in court where the charges can be put to her formally and the matter formally enrolled by the courts, with the trial date that will be set for some time in the future. So one assumes that will now continue. We know that from Mapisa-Nqakula's lawyer that he wasn't available until today, but now that the 3rd of April is here, one assumes that he will be able to accompany his client when those charges are read out to her, before a court. So that the law must take its course, and I think the judgment from Judge Sulet Potro yesterday made it very clear that we must all be treated equally before the law, that nobody, regardless of the office that they hold, is entitled to any special dispensation when it comes to being charged, especially with serious offences such as corruption.